Welcome back to the Secret Underground Lair. So we have now finished the final profile cut on our guitar top here. Blemishes as noted on previous videos. Today though, we're going to be cutting the F hole. So there'll be two of them, and I've got the G code laid out for this first F hole, and it'll be roughly taking out this shape here. And we'll see how it goes. I'm going to put you on time lapse and let's just see how this cut goes. Well, that was a little nerve-wracking because I couldn't see anything that was going on, and the view that you had from over here was completely obscured by the rotor mechanism, the whole sled and carriage. But in the end, that worked out well. I like that. It's going to do very nicely. I can see now the total thickness of the top here. And we are about, it looks like 6 millimeters is about the thickness that we've got, which is what I was after. It'll be sanded down quite a bit, so I'm expecting to lose 1 millimeter off that thickness. But that's kind of what I was shooting for. Let me know in the comments if that should be a thinner top. I think it should probably be a little thinner than 5 millimeters, but that's what I was shooting for. Yeah, I'm on target. If I need to adjust the target, now I feel confident that I can because I have the accuracy that I need. Okay, now I need to create the G code for the F hole on this side of the top. And of course that has to be an exact mirror of that. So I'll go set up that G code, come back and we'll cut that one. All right, there we are. We have our F holes are symmetrical. Another little test cut here. Oops. I forgot to set the offset. I saw that error when I was reviewing the G code, and I didn't make the change in the G code. I saw the error, but didn't change it. Anyway, fortunately I caught it before it did too much damage. And now the G code has been corrected and we're in good shape. Just thinking about this G code, there's probably about 2 million lines of G code with what's been done here. So it is a lot of movement. So I'm not terribly disappointed that I have some errors. I'm not surprised about that. 2 million lines of G code, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4 on this side, and then a few on the other side, probably 5 or 6 on the other side. So maybe 10 errors out of 2 million lines of G code. So I'm going to take this piece off the table, and I can take a look at both sides, measure the thickness, gauge how we're doing overall. So here's the guitar out of the jig, and overall, I'm very pleased with what we're getting in terms of thickness here. That's looking really good. That's a nice edge. And similarly on this hole, it's a nice edge. They're fairly consistent. I'm very pleased with that result. So apart from the errors that I encountered first with this G code, I'm ready to set up another blank and go at it. I'm going to treat the next blank as another test piece, but if it works out okay, then we'll use it. So I will pick some wood that's going to be decent, and I'm going to make the top out of cedar. The back might be made out of maple. So before going completely crazy with a new top, which by the way, I've altered the shape a little bit on our next piece. It's going to be a little bit broader in the base here, or in the bottom section. This was kind of looking a little too, as I was looking at it, it's a little too long and narrow, a little more cello-like than acoustic guitar-like. So I'm going to, just going to change the profile slightly. That's already been done. But the big thing that I want to try to accommodate is the Z-axis here. I want to make some improvements. So this is a relatively small motor. I have another one of them, a second small motor here. And what I'm planning to do, or thinking of doing, is take both of these small motors and use them on our Y-axis along here, and take this single large stepper that I've got here, put that on the Z-axis. So first test of that scenario is I'm going to move this motor to here, and just see how a bigger motor can affect the Z-axis, if I can get more rapid movement from it. So that's our test for today. So I did a little bit of playing around with the larger motor to bring the router up and down. The hope was that would be able to spin a little faster. Turns out that's not the problem. There is a limit to the speed at which a stepper motor of this size can spin. And I'm getting the same limitation on the large motor as the smaller motor, so it is not the power of the motor that's the problem, it's the number of steps that the motor is able to spin at the voltage that I have available to me. So I'm going to put this motor back down here on the Y-axis, put the small motor back here. What I have done is I have ordered a rod here, that a lead screw, a proper lead screw, as opposed to just a threaded rod. So that lead screw is arriving a little bit later today, and we'll put that on and see what difference it makes. In the meantime, I'm going to start putting together a new blank for our next guitar top. Our new lead screw has arrived. This is kind of interesting that in one rotation of this lead screw, that nut is going to move 8 millimeters. So a significant change from the threaded rod that we're currently using here. So I'm going to take this apart again, replace the threaded rod with this new lead screw. I have to cut it off, of course. This is too long, so I'm going to use probably about half of it. And yeah, we'll get that in place and see what a difference that will make. In the meantime, we have our new blank glued up for our guitar top. This is about 90-year-old Western red cedar. You may remember this from a utility pole that was milled on the work table sawmill. So we'll get to that in a little bit. First, let's do this lead screw. All right, a little bit of an issue trying to get that T-nut out of the bottom of this. I was hoping I could just pop that T-nut in, and then I could slip this in. But that seemed to have embedded itself pretty well with the heat that I applied to sink that in there. As a result, it has cracked as I tried to get it out. So I'm going to have to reprint this part. Of course, I have to slip the bearings out. I have these two linear bearings, so I'm going to slip them out of this piece. Print a new one of these, and then yeah, we'll be ready to handle that new threaded or new lead screw. All right, our new bracket for the router is printed. This is our new lead screw nut. This is it'll move on one revolution 8 millimeters, so it's significantly more travel than we had with a simple threaded rod. And I've put the linear bearings back in there, the capture nuts. The capture nuts are mounted. So we'll put this whole assembly back together and fire it up. It seems that and maybe this has been a problem for a little while, but the up and down movement here is a little stiff. The tolerances here are extremely close, and I think what I'm getting is a little bit of binding on this. These brackets are binding up against the back of the unit. All right, got a little bit of gasket material. It's about the thickness of a business card, and that is giving us some very good movement now. Completely unencumbered. So quite happy with the result of that. Just move. Okay, we are now mounted up here. Do a little bit of testing on this stepper motor and Z lead screw, or Z-axis lead screw. We'll just see kind of what kind of movement we get. Now, previously we'd been operating at 138.8, I believe, steps per revolution, or steps per millimeter, using this threaded rod. But with this 4-start lead screw, we get 8 millimeters of travel with 1 revolution, which means we're getting about 25 steps per millimeter. So we are substantially faster, almost 5 times faster movement here. I'm going to slow that down a little bit so I get 50 steps per revolution, or 50 steps per millimeter, rather. So we'll double up the number of steps, and we'll give that a try, see how it behaves. All right, I got the parameters set up in the Marlin G code now. So you can see a little bit of movement here. And we can make it go substantially faster. So I'm pleased with that performance. I'll mount the router in. Let's see what it gets with a little bit of weight. So I'm with weight in here, we're still getting rapid travel, much faster than we had with the threaded rod. Getting just a little bit of flex up here, which I'm going to watch and try and figure out what's causing that. I may want to beef up this bracket a little bit, but I'll show you the movement that we've got here. So that's substantially better, and that's about as fast as I can go without the stepper losing steps. So that's the amount of weight I can handle. So with this now in place, I think we're ready to plane off the blank that we've got for our guitar top. So I'm going to change out the bit on the router to be a planing bit. I got another 3/4 inch bit from my friendly neighborhood discount store, and we'll go to town on the new blank that we've got. I'll come back when I've got that set up. Well, we got our Z blank, our new blank put in position. Just have to clamp it down. Router is all set to go. Movement on the Z axis is working really well. I think we're tuned in, all set to cut this blank. This blank, by the way, is about 90-year-old Western red cedar. If you look at some of the previous videos, you will find that being cut up on the work table sawmill from a utility pole. So that's going to be our next guitar top. But I'm going to, we'll call that a video for today. We'll come back, our start of our next video will be the cutting of this, will be the surfacing of this, and then we'll get into the cutting of it and get on with our guitar. So thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe. I will see you on the next video.